Siomra Beag.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Sure Look, Sure Listen, the podcast that takes a pop at culture.
Sure look, sure listen.
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 Sure look, sure listen. Benjamin, we're back. We took a knock last week. The two of us, we were given the old 1-2 punch, Ben.
An in-ock, if you'd like, instead of a regular knock, as in an inoculation against various diseases out there in the world.
No, just the one, Ben, just the one. Don't go around licking things thinking you're immune to everything now. That was for a very specific disease.
Oh no.
Yes.
Oh no.
Have you made a terrible mistake, Ben?
I've been swimming in radioactive water, Michael.
No,
I've gone for
that
dips.
won't help. That won't help, Ben.
I took a trip to Chernobyl and just frolicked.
Oh, no, that won't help you at all, Benjamin. I hope you're not too attached to your skin. Sure, look, Ben.
Won't be for long.
Exactly, yes. That was the gist of the joke. Sure, look, Ben, this week we have a lot of things to look at because we've got 2 weeks of content because we took a knock last week, Ben. So we're going to be taking a look at Prisoners of Ghostland, Nicolas Cage making movies for the sake of trailers, Ben. We're also going to go retrospectively and very quickly talk about Jungle Cruise before it slips away from cultural relevance. We've both seen What If Captain Carter, but only I have seen the film Free Guy.
Yes, only one of us has seen the film Free Guy. Michael, sure, listen. If that wasn't enough, we're going to be taking a look at superheroes in other cultures, representations of superheroes in other cultures, Michael. That's what we're going to be doing.
Other than what, Ben? Other than our culture of Irish?
Other than the classic American depiction of the superhero, Michael.
Ah, I see what you're saying. Benjamin.
Yes.
Before we get started on any of that, I see Robin is gay now.
Yes, Robin is a bisexual now, Michael.
Now,
And
Benjamin, here's my question.
Yeah, go on.
Which Robin?
It's Tim Drake, Michael. Tim Drake.
Oh, is it?
So Robin number 3.
Right.
Robin number 3. Now, Michael, as you would expect, the internet has taken to this with grace, dignity, and just pure respect.
Good old internet.
For
very
a
trustworthy.
fiction, yeah, for a fictional character that isn't real and would be very silly to get upset about. Of course, Michael, I'm being very facetious there. The internet has lost its mind. It's very upset. Yes, it's very upset. Why? Why do they have to do that? Why can't they make a new gay character? It's a fictional character. It doesn't matter.
I see your straw man is back.
Yeah, my straw man is back in full force. He's gotten a bit of bass in the last couple of weeks.
He has. He's a lot manlier now.
He's a lot
presumably
manlier.
because of the gay panic.
He's overcompensating suitably because of the gay panic.
I'm not overcompensating or gay.
I'm not, right? I only looked at those pictures once to make sure I wasn't, yeah? Yeah? But anyway, so the internet's lost its mind because Tim Drake has come out as bisexual, Michael. To say that he's come out as bisexual is a very strong term as well. It's just alluded to in the comic. It's just like, oh yeah, I might go on a date with a man. Fair enough. No, there's no out and out coming out scene, Michael. What there is at the beginning of the comic, he is on like a dinner date, which he's not sure is a date or not. And by the end of the comic, having gone through the ups and downs of being a Robin for an afternoon, Michael, he takes the plunge and decides to confirm that it's a date with the young man he was out with. So
a young man?
A young man, Michael. And that's it.
What has he been? Some sort of bisexualist?
So he's a bisexualist, Michael. He's a bisexual, Michael. And the internet has not taken to it well in some parts and taken to it wonderfully in others.
Classic the internet, Ben. Very divisive.
Very divisive. Yeah.
Benjamin.
Yeah.
I have a theory.
Go on.
And I will now present to you my theory.
I look forward to it.
My theory, Ben,
Yes.
is that Nicolas Cage is making films for the purpose of making funny trailers now.
I am convinced, Michael, that your theory might hold an awful lot of water.
Because no one's watching this nonsense, Ben.
I mean, Pig came out, Michael, and it got rave reviews. It got a 9.5 on IGN, and then it has I think it's an 85% Rotten Tomatoes score.
The film Pig?
The film Pig, where Nicolas Cage is a truffle hunter. and he's missing
And
his
it got
pig.
95%. Does it have 95%, Ben, because 3 people have reviewed it and they're ironic Nicolas Cage fans?
I hope so. That'd make it even better. That'd make it even better.
I most certainly haven't watched it. Have you watched it?
I haven't watched it. The reason that I know this, Michael, is the good friend of the podcast, Connor, who was on that very podcast where we took a look at the pig trailer, sent me the reviews and was like, well, we were wrong.
Well, you'll have to eat crow now.
We'll have to munch down on some crow. So huge apologies to any truffle hunting pig fans.
Yeah, I'm one of those. That's fine. Benjamin, when we're eating crow, we'll have to have some shavings of a black truffle on it.
Yes, that'll be extra fitting, Michael. Extra fitting. No, we got the trailer, Michael, for Prisoners of the Ghostland.
I'm not a prisoner. I'm a man.
I'm a man. And Nicolas Cage is playing, yet again, Michael, a role for a much younger man.
What's he at, Ben? What's he at? Why does he have bombs on his testicles?
He's got bombs
What's
on his
going on?
testicles, and he gives a wry aside of, seriously?
Seriously, I've got bombs on my testicles.
Which is possibly a line from the classic John Travolta Nick Cage movie Face Off, Michael. I'm fairly certain at a certain point Castor Troy goes on about his testicles being explosive. Throwback maybe.
I don't know.
But this film,
He has
Michael,
2 big bombs on his testicles, Ben.
he's got 2 big bombs in his testicles. He's got some kind of Fallout 4 wrist device on.
A pip boy.
A pip boy. He's in a nuclear wasteland of some kind, Michael. I don't think I said nuclear right there. It's nuclear.
No, you didn't. It was great. Yeah, it was great.
Nuclear.
Nuclear, it's pronounced.
The only thing I ever learned from Family Guy. Isn't that interesting? Possibly the only thing anyone has ever learned from Family Guy. But there we go. So it's from the same studio, Michael, as Mandy and Colour Out of Space, which were also notable for the fact that they seem like they just inhale acid at a rate of knots. On top of that, it's kind of like Ghost Rider meets Seven Samurai meets David Lynch by the looks of it.
There's a lot of weird shit going on, Benjamin. I would hazard a guess that it won't be terribly good. It seems to be set in a post-apocalyptic Japan, but a pretty cheap post-apocalyptic Japan, which looks a lot like pre-apocalyptic Japan.
On the back lot of some LA sushi restaurant.
Yes. It looks like the same place where Hawkeye fought the Yakuzas in Endgame.
Oh, a classic scene that has stuck in the cultural memory for a long old time, Michael.
Apparently it has. There's now a whole film based on it.
I can't believe they're making a fucking film out of it. I can't believe Hawkeye's getting another run. I can't believe
a Hawkeye film, Ben. Benjamin.
Yes.
I've no interest in Prisoners of the Ghostland or Prisoners of Ghostland or whatever it's called.
I think I just enjoy I enjoy our monthly check-in with Nick.
See what's going on. Benjamin.
Yeah.
The lady who's playing the lady who needs to be rescued, which is not very modern, is the lady with no legs from the Kingsman movie, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, same woman whose name again escapes me. It's really bad.
Yeah, her name completely escapes me. Anyway, Benjamin.
Yeah,
we're whipping through this today. We're whipping through it. Benjamin, speaking of things that aren't going to make a lasting impact on popular culture, have you seen the film Mummies of the Caribbean?
Mummies of the Caribbean 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Mummies of the Caribbean, the J. Dwayne Johnson.
2 weeks ago, Michael, we got the release of Jungle Cruise on Disney after, I would say, a long-awaited release. But was it? I don't think so.
Was it though?
So Jungle Cruise is the latest, Michael, in a line of Disney theme park ride based films.
Yeah. And all of them have been flops except the first one, but they're refusing to learn a lesson.
They won't learn a lesson, Michael. And this one is based on Jungle Cruise, which is kind of like a kitsch boat ride with jump scares.
Yeah.
In the Disney park. Now, I've never been to a Disney park, Michael, because...
I'll take you, Ben. When COVID is over, I'll take you. We'll film it for a blog.
Sweet as. Oh, that's a win.
We'll go to Paris, Ben. We'll go to Paris Disneyland.
We start a little GoFundMe for me, where we sponsor Ben's trip to...
I'll just pay for it, Ben. I'll just pay for it.
Well, that's handy. That saves a lot of shilling on our part. That's good.
Yeah. We'll probably get a lot of the funds covered when your skin starts falling off from the Chernobyl incident.
Oh yeah,
so
probably.
We'll get a lot of sympathy.
Yeah, excellent. So, speaking of ill-advised adventures, Jungle Cruise is it's a bit ridiculous, Michael. It's got a big cast, sort of.
It's got a huge cast.
It's
Dwayne Rock Johnson, for example, is 6'4".
He's very big. He's very, very big,
very big.
Michael. So
Jack Whitehall is also very big.
Jack Whitehall's a very tall man. It's very noticeable
tall.
when they're standing next to each other. Like, Jack Whitehall really is very tall.
Very tall. And Emily Blunt is not a short lady either.
No, she's a tall lady. She played a big, tall, scary lady in... Oh, no, Tom Cruise is dead again.
Yes,
yeah.
she did.
So that's a whole thing. But in this, Michael, Emily Blunt and her brother Jack Whitehall want to go to the...
I think you mean Rachel Weisz and her brother... what's his name?
John Hannah.
John Hannah. John
Hannah.
Yeah.
And in this particular case, they go to the Amazon, Michael, to get a magical flower that will cure all ails. Now, this is set in 1916, Michael, and any Irish audience that was there was like, ha, yeah, 1916. Completely ignores any of that.
No, doesn't care. Let's go. We want to cut away, show us what's going on at the GPO.
Very, very quickly cut to
What's Michael Collins up to? What's the big fella up to?
Can you imagine if in the middle of Jungle Cruise it was suddenly turned into very subtle Republican propaganda?
I don't think it'd be very subtle then if it cut away to what's the big fella up to during this film. Benjamin, you skipped over it there a little bit, but I'm just going to describe a film to you, right?
Okay, go on.
So we have a bookish scientist, Ben.
Yes.
And she's convinced that, despite her struggles in being taken seriously as a woman in academia, she's convinced that she's discovered an ancient secret. So she breaks into the library and flips about on library stairs, library ladders. What are they called?
They are library ladders.
Yeah, exactly. And
Nail on the head there.
She has to escape the city, Ben, with her slightly effeminate and cowardly brother. So she goes on a trip across the world, whereupon she meets an American adventurer who, after an initially antagonistic relationship, convinces her that he'll help her find the mysterious item she's looking for. What film have I described there, Ben?
You've described The Mummy with Brendan Fraser, Rachel Weisz and John Hannah.
No, Benjamin, it was The Jungle Cruise.
It was The Jungle Cruise, Michael. But take with that a dash of another film, Michael. Cast your mind back to a bunch of sailors careening about on the high seas, Michael.
Yes.
And perhaps, Michael, they might find something that they're not really supposed to find, and they take it anyway. And the lesson being that greed is probably not a great thing, and if you take things that don't belong to you or culturally appropriate, you might end up cursed.
I'm a bugly snake man.
And then, Michael, you might careen around again, and you might cause havoc for other people trying to get back and reverse that curse in some form, and just being a general nuisance.
That sounds like, Ben, Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl.
No, Michael, it's Jungle Cruise.
Oh, damn it. I've been hoisted by my own petard.
Hoisted by your own petard. So, Michael, full spoilers for this now. So, right. if you don't want spoilers for Jungle Cruise, listen away now and drink some booze.
Don't watch The Mummy or Pirates of the Caribbean.
Because all the spoilers are there. So, all the twists and beats from the two aforementioned films are in this film, Michael. And it's actually quite easy to predict by the numbers. Yes. It's pretty bad. I think the most entertaining thing about it is the German prince, who's just a bit ridiculous.
I was talking to my good lady friend about this, Ben, and I actually quite enjoyed Jungle Cruise, except for it was too long.
It is too long, isn't it?
It's too long. It's not a bad movie.
It's a great swashbuckler.
Too long. It's a decent enough swashbuckler in the style of Pirates of the Caribbean and The Mummy.
In the exact style.
The exact same style. The exact same style. But
right down
to
the twists.
Same twists, same motivations, same turns, far too long. And one of the things I would have got rid of, Ben, if I was an amateur editor, was the German prince who's chasing them.
Yeah, you didn't like that? Not a fan?
He's an antagonist too far.
He's an antagonist too far and a little bit insulting.
A little bit racist and a little bit of an antagonist too far.
America has taken them to his bosom. There's an appeal now to have a German prince solo movie, probably in the style of Cruella or Maleficent or something like that.
Very good.
It's a lot more complicated to make a German war hero into a relatable character, though. That's going to be tricky.
Not a Nazi though, Ben.
Not a Nazi. Not a Nazi.
1916.
Still
not a
going
Nazi.
to be difficult.
Probably sent a boatload of guns over to the big fella.
Probably to give them a dig out.
It might have been him, Ben. He might have snuck the guns over for 1916 in his submarine.
We'll never know, Michael. We'll never know.
We'll
there
never
are
know.
there are three things that stick out to me, Michael, in this film,
Yes.
and they're all to do
The
with
Rock's
the Rock.
biceps.
The Rock's biceps, which often stick out. But the main things that stuck out to me in this film, Michael, are three things. My God, they did some fandangling so the Rock wouldn't have to do a Spanish accent. Number one.
Yeah.
Number two, Emily Blunt's a very selfish woman. Very selfish woman. She was like, yes, I know you've been alive for 400 years and suffered immensely at the hands, losing many people and cats. But...
Yes.
But...
Yes.
Why don't you come and live with me in London?
Live with me in London. London's great. There's no rebels.
What about London? The world's a great place to be, unless
I've got you
you're
a funny little
Irish.
hat.
I've got you a funny little hat. And number three, would you not condemn your brothers in arms to an eternity of torture that's worse than
Yeah,
death?
that's the worst thing. Where they're like, this is worse than death, help us. And he's like, nah, have you seen my biceps? They're enormous.
I've got Emily Blunt now and McGregor.
We're going to have a sexless relationship because we're weird.
It's Disney.
Yeah. It's a weird Disney sexist relationship.
I did think for a second we might get like Disney's first gay couple. I thought McGregor and Dwayne The Rock Johnson might fall for each other at one point.
That would have been great.
I would have watched the shit out of that film.
That would have been a good twist.
Wouldn't it? To finally just out of nowhere have your first on-screen gay Disney couple, with McGregor being the man in distress.
It's the manzel in distress.
The manzel
Benjamin.
in distress. Yeah.
It's fine. It's okay. Like, it's overlong. It's derivative to the point of farce.
Yeah.
And it's full of plot holes, but it's fine. It is in the same vein as those other films, which it's not as good as.
Yes, true. But it's a decent L watch, Michael. I have to be fair to it. Like, I didn't hate it.
There's a couple of Chekhov's guns in it, Ben, that go absolutely nowhere, and it's quite surprising.
Well, go on then.
Emily Blunt brings along a video camera.
Yes.
And there are a couple of scenes about The Rock being surprised by the video camera and what it does, and then him using it. But yeah, then nothing comes of it. Like, I thought it was going to be something like they would look back at the camera and spot something, or only the camera would be able to see the secret entrance or something, and that's why no one found it for. But no, there's just, look at all this camera, look at all the camera, look at our camera, cameras are great, look at it, and then
look at all those cameras.
And there's lots of weird little kind of setups in it that never go anywhere like that.
Yeah, so Michael.
Go on.
I have a quick question for you, and I don't know why I think you'll know the answer to this. But did they have submarines that advanced in 1916?
No, God, no. Oh, God,
no.
No.
Okay, good.
No.
Good.
They also didn't have 600-year-old Americans pretending to be Spanish.
Are you sure?
Oh,
I think they had that in 1916. I think I remember hearing about some immortal Spanish conquistador sending guns to the big man in 1916. I'm almost certain.
Ben, you've described a real what-if scenario there.
Speaking of what-if scenarios, Michael, did you bloody catch the first episode of Disney Plus's new television show?
I did, Benjamin, and to be honest with you, it's the least excited I've been about one of Marvel's TV shows, unfortunately.
Oh, Michael, I think we're in the minority, but I did not enjoy the first episode of What If with Captain Carter.
Oh. Is that because you're a misogynist, though?
No, actually, contrary to popular belief, I'm not a misogynist, Michael. And it's
that is what a misogynist would say, though.
That is what a misogynist would say. Sadly, I'm damned if I do and damned if I don't. So yeah, it just wasn't great. It was grand.
It wasn't. Yeah, it was grand.
But the internet's lost their mind about it.
Are you in the internet? Get off the internet, Ben, for a change.
I think I need to. But yeah,
the internet's lost their mind in a positive way or a negative way?
No, in a for I suppose for Captain Carter in a positive way. People are like, this is great. This is so cool to see. Like something. I thought it was really poor. I thought my first issue with it is the voice acting.
The voice acting is very stiff.
It's shite.
Benjamin, we've said for years that an actor does not necessarily a good voice actor make.
So strange.
Especially, I mean, the real weak link in it was James Buchanan, Bucky Barnes.
Sebastian Stan was awful.
Sebastian Stan is no good as a voice actor, but also he didn't have a super huge amount to work with. But
No.
yeah, he's not a voice actor. It's
No, he's
very
not.
stiff. He's very stiff in it. So is Hayley Atwell, I felt.
Haley Atwell wasn't very good either.
wasn't great. They had the Tooch. They had Stanley the Tooch in it
For 2
for
seconds.
a line. yeah, so I don't know. Maybe he's going to be in more of a later one.
I mean, he was happy with the paycheck, I'd say. I don't think he cares.
Yeah. He was in Gunpowder Milkshake or Jolt, one or the other. I don't remember.
Jolt.
Jolt. Yeah. Benjamin,
Paul
the best
Giamatti
actor.
was in Gunpowder
Gunpowder
Milkshake.
Milkshake,
Also in
yes.
Jungle Cruise, for no reason.
Yes, for no reason. One protagonist too many. Antagonist. Sorry, Benjamin.
Yeah.
What was I saying? The best voice actor in it was the impersonator who was doing Chris Evans.
Yeah, that was good work. And
That was very solid work.
Ross Marquand gave us a solid
Skull,
Red
yeah.
Skull again. Yeah.
But they're voice actors, Ben.
Yes, they know what they're doing, Michael.
They know what they're doing. I would rather if they just had impersonators for the entire cast.
Yeah, it was poor. I find it very strange, Michael. The pacing was very strange. Now, obviously, they have to try and crush a lot of stuff into, what is it, 25 minutes?
If even, yeah.
If
Felt
even,
shorter.
yeah.
But I mean, what they're essentially doing is retelling us the story of Captain America Captain America the First Winter, yeah, Captain America the First Winter. That's what it was called.
But look, it's a lady.
But now it's different, but a lot of stuff isn't different.
No, it's exactly the same film.
It's exactly the same. So there's no reason to show it to us, which means it basically looks like what our pitches would look like if someone actually made them into a film, because they've just done the good bits.
Yeah,
And they haven't
it's
done the
literally
setup.
our highlight reel.
Yeah, they've skipped over the setup of a lot of things. Like, you don't need to see that. You know that. You've seen it. No one is watching this who hasn't seen Captain America the First Avenger.
I'm fairly certain, Michael, I saw your name in the credits.
Yeah, I think I wrote a good chunk of this.
I think you did.
I think I did.
The animation is interesting in places.
It's certainly a style, Ben.
It's certainly a style. I don't know if it's a good one.
Well, it's certainly a style.
I was impressed in the trailer. I tell you what I want to see more of. Bloody more Watcher. That's a bloody... Where's more
Jeffrey
of that?
Wright.
Give me more of that. Give me more Jeffrey Wright. There's a
Jeffrey
man with a
Wright.
big,
Yeah, I
deep
wasn't-
booming voice.
I wasn't enamored by it, to be honest. It wasn't my absolute favorite thing. I liked Captain Carter. I liked the character design. She looks cool.
Yeah.
And I like how she got big and buff.
She
I
got
like
big and
that.
buff. That was interesting, wasn't it? That's good representation on film.
I like that she got big and buff instead of staying very small and feminine, because it makes sense. If men take it and they get big and buff, then women take it and they get big and buff.
Makes perfect sense. There's
Makes perfect
no reason
sense.
it wouldn't.
But then makes her relationship with Tiny Little Steve even funnier looking.
Do you think he wears the Hydra Smasher suit?
Yeah.
You'd probably have to.
Hydra is their nickname for Peggy.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That's an off-color joke.
Yeah, it is a little bit.
That's going to cost us.
What were we saying?
It's just a bit of a damn squib of a start for me. Now, the internet disagrees, but I just didn't think it was great. I think
People
it's
like
very... I think it's very poor in contrast with the previous 3 series that we've gotten.
Well, it's its own thing, isn't it? It's a fun little thing. It's not the kind of thing I'm going to wait and look forward to every Wednesday and make an event of it.
Yeah, we might review these every once in a while.
We might. I mean, next week it's going to make news because episode 1 has a lady Captain America, which is big news in the current social climate. Episode 2 has Chadwick Boseman's last performance for Marvel in it. So that's going to be news as well. So it's going to keep making news. It's going to be a big thing, but it all feels a bit slight and inconsequential to me.
If the caliber of the next episode matches the caliber of this one, and it's
which it
Chadwick
probably will.
Boseman's final Marvel performance. Ugh.
Chadwick Boseman's not a voice actor.
He's not a voice actor, is he?
No. Could be not great. Anyway, look, Ben. Sure, look, it is what it is.
It is what it is, Michael. It is what it is.
Yeah.
As they'd say on Love Island, it is what it is. So, Michael, let's move on from there then. You've been bloody watching lots of things.
Benjamin,
Yeah.
Last night I went to the cinematorium.
The cinematorium. What a novelty in this
cinematorium.
age of lockdowns and COVID.
Yeah, you can go to the cinematorium again, Ben. And I saw the film Free Guy.
Free Guy?
Now, I know what you're thinking, Ben. I think that came out 3 years ago. It didn't.
I thought it did, Michael.
No, it never escaped. It only escaped last night at midnight or whatever.
He's finally free.
Yeah, so Ryan Reynolds, Ben, he's in a video game. He's
classic.
He's in a very, very, very thinly veiled Grand Theft Auto Online video game.
A mass multiplayer online RPG, Michael.
A massively multiplayer online shoot 'em up more so than RPG.
Okay, thanks for clearing that up, Michael.
That is quite all right. I mean, that's not to say it's not a role-playing game, Ben. All games are role-playing games.
I mean,
suppose.
essentially, yes.
Essentially, when it comes down to it. I am not actually Lara Croft, Ben.
Thank God.
Despite
That'd be
my
a disturbing
hourglass
image.
physique. Yes, it would. But Ryan Reynolds is in it, Ben, and he's an NPC.
Oh, he's a non-playable character, Michael.
He's a non-playable character, Ben, but something causes him to break out of his reverie of being a non-player character and start to develop complex feelings and emotions.
Michael, you're describing the plot of 2013's Lego movie.
Benjamin,
Yes.
remember earlier when I said Pirates of the Mummies of the Caribbean?
Yes.
This is Ready Player Lego.
Ready Player Lego, nice.
Ready
Nice.
Player Lego movie. I also saw with our good friend, my good friend and your arch nemesis Shane, Ben, and he said
boo.
there was quite a lot of Truman Show in it as well, which is a lot of the early tone of it is Truman Show-esque.
Oh, really?
But the first 30 minutes, Ben, are the Lego movie.
Yeah.
It's bizarre how much it's the Lego movie. We
That is
have
bizarre.
we've got a normal average guy called Guy, and he wakes up every
Handy.
morning in his little apartment, and he lives in the city, and he looks out, and he loves living in the city, and he goes and has the best cup of coffee he's ever had, and he has his best friend, and his life gets turned upside down when he meets a funky girl with a strange style and unusual purple streaks in her hair.
Manic Pixie
film
Dream
have I just
Gamer.
which film have I just described there, Ben?
All of them written by straight white men who may not have been too lucky with women in the early part of their life.
Very interesting. I see what you've done there, Benjamin.
Yes.
It is the Lego movie. The first half hour is the Lego movie, and then it becomes a little bit more Ready Player One. But here's the twist, Ben.
Go on, give us an old twist.
It's pretty good.
That was a good.
It's pretty good, yeah. It's
That is a
pretty good.
twist.
Yeah. I would say it's as good as the Lego movie. And
That's high praise.
yeah. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thoroughly
excellent.
enjoyed Free Guy. Like every film I've seen for the last fucking 10 years, Ben, it drags a bit in the middle.
Yeah, you've suffered from an L drag in the middle.
It drags a bit in the middle. It loses its way a little bit, and then it comes back at the end. But it's very generic. You could say everything that we complained about Jungle Cruise. You can also say about this. It's a bit generic. It's derivative. It's derivative to the point of making how derivative it is the joke. Sometimes it knows how derivative it is.
See, for me, this is going to get me in lots of trouble. Ryan
Go on.
Reynolds is the vanilla milkshake of movie makers.
Well, that's racist.
No, it isn't.
I think of him as a chocolate milkshake.
He's the safe choice for
Go on.
viewing entertainment.
Yes.
Ryan Reynolds has built up this endearingly charming internet persona as kind of a quirky, out there, look at me, I'm Ryan Reynolds kind of guy. And it works. It works just fine. But you're going to get generic on occasion. It's going to happen. And the safe bet with Ryan Reynolds is that you're going to get Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, well, you get Ryan Reynolds in this.
Yeah.
But it's not over-the-top Ryan Reynolds. It's not Deadpool Ryan Reynolds. But
Okay.
it's also not Sandra Bullock Won't Stop Proposing to Me Ryan Reynolds. What was that film called?
Classic Ryan. The Proposal, Michael.
Was it called The Proposal? Yeah, it's not that Ryan Reynolds either. So
Hit the nail on the head there, bud.
Oh God! Oh. It's good. It's a good film. It's enjoyable. It's got hijinks. It's got laughs in it. It's got one of the best jokes I've seen in years. I rolled back in my chair, Ben, and went, "That was a good joke." It's not a hilarious joke, but it's a very good joke. It's got it's got little surprises and twists, but it's solidly entertaining, but not upsetting in the way Jungle Cruise was, where you're going, God, this is derivative and long.
Okay, well that's good. So you don't feel it.
You don't feel it, Ben. It's better than Ready Player One, I felt.
Lots of things are.
Yes, yeah. But I mean, I also think, honestly, it's even slightly better than the Lego Movie. It's a little bit more refined than the Lego Movie. I felt the Lego Movie lost its way a little bit and got... although that might just be the Lego Movie 2 I'm thinking of.
Is the Lego Movie Ryan Reynolds?
The Lego Movie is America's Ryan Reynolds, Chris Pratt.
Oh, boo. Give me Canadian Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, so that's the funny thing about this. They're essentially the same character. They are basically the same character. Okay. But without the sinisterness of it being Chris Pratt.
Oh no, it's Chris Pratt.
And knowing what he's probably thinking about in real life.
God, those gays, they're just not great, are they?
Yeah, get rid of them. And the bisexualists.
He wouldn't be a fan of Tim Drake, I'd say.
No, thank you. What was I saying? No, it's quite good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. There's some very surprising, fun little cameos, Ben. There is, as I said, the best joke ever. If anyone wants, I don't want to spoil the best joke ever, because one of the best ways to ruin the best joke ever is to repeat it without the delivery. Yeah. But the best joke ever is in the scene where Ryan Reynolds' guy is comparing the real world with the imaginary world that they live in, Ben. Okay. And it's delivered by Jodie Comer, who's very good in this, actually.
Excellent.
And it's very, very good. It's very
noted
very good.
Good actress Jodie Comer.
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't just call her Wild Style. I don't know why they called her Millie. It doesn't make a lot of sense.
It's a strange move when you're doing a live-action adaptation of the Lego Movie.
Of the Lego Movie, yes. It is the second best thing about MMOs of all time.
Oh, well, that's good, isn't it? What's the first?
It's not Ready Player One, Ben. I'll tell you that for free.
I'll tell you that much.
The best piece of media ever, based around the joke of characters living in a video game, is the South Park episode "Make Love, Not Warcraft."
Oh, that is a classic, isn't it?
It is absolutely spectacularly brilliant, and every video game piece of media for the rest of time should be held up against that as a comparison of writers who just got the concept of the game, but also were genuinely funny and hilarious, and you didn't need to know anything about the game. I started playing World of Warcraft, Ben, because of that South Park episode.
Get out of town.
That's how good it was.
Really?
Yes. So good, Ben. The best piece of video game... People are always arguing, like, why is Ryan Reynolds suddenly the person making the best video game movies?
Are they?
Because he
is that a debate?
Yeah. He made Detective Pikachu, which a lot of people said was... Neither of his good video game movies have been actually based on video games. He seems to be making good movies about video games, but not good video game movies.
No.
Because Free City, Ben, is not a real game.
Free City is not a real game, Michael.
You know what the weakest performance in it, Ben, is?
Is it Taika Waititi?
It's Taika Waititi.
Is he phoning it in?
No, he's not phoning it in. He's hamming it up, but it doesn't work, I don't think.
Really?
Yeah. It doesn't work. He's playing evil Taika Waititi, basically.
I hope we don't see the fall of Taika Waititi in my lifetime. I won't be happy with that.
It doesn't quite work.
I won't be happy with that, Michael, if that's what happens. I really won't.
What a shame.
What a shame, Michael. What a shame. Speaking of shame, Michael.
Yes?
I have nowhere to go with that segue. I just had to... I used the familiar verbal pattern to move us on to the next thing. Michael...
Well, why don't we... Yes, go on.
Last week...
Yes?
2 weeks ago. We took a little week off because we got a jab. We got a jab, Michael. Earlier in this episode, we talked about the big man.
Benjamin.
Michael.
I felt like a sock filled up with human shit.
That's the most graphic thing you've ever sent me in a text, and I still haven't recovered.
That's how I felt.
And I tell everyone that, and it has such human resonance, Michael. You've created a piece of 21st century art because everyone I tell it to, and I never use your name, Michael, because I want to give you dignity and respect, and I don't want you
you're stealing my joke. Yeah, I see. Yeah,
and I'm stealing your joke, and I'm using it for myself. But everyone that I've told you goes, that's it. That's what I felt like. So you've created a bizarre human
I think it's
touchstone.
I think it's called a meme, Ben. I think that's the original meaning of the word meme.
I think you've created a meme.
The original meaning of meme, not the modern meaning of meme, where you just write a socially insensitive comment on a picture of Robin Drake,
And then say, haha, it's funny. See what I did? It's a meme, guys. Chill out, guys.
It's a meme. It's just a prank.
But yeah, I'm sorry you felt that way, Michael. I also didn't feel all that hot.
No, it was very bad.
It was no good, Michael. Michael, earlier on in this episode, we talked about the big fella.
The big fella, Michael Collins.
The big fella, Michael Collins, Michael. Something of a cultural hero, Michael, to a certain part of the population, Michael. And I'd like to say that's what got us thinking, but it isn't, Michael. So we started thinking about heroes in different cultural lenses, Michael, because we here in the podcast, we're sadly, Michael, a very American-centric, content-driven podcast.
We can be indeed, Ben, because it's the old America. They're the ones who are producing the stuff that is... they've got a cultural hegemony.
Yeah, Michael. So we're living in the age of I always say hegemony, but... Hegemony?
Cultural hegemony.
Cultural Ganymede. Yeah.
Ganymede, yeah. The moon Ganymede.
The moon Ganymede. Cultural Ganymede. I always use a different term, Michael. I call it cultural colonialism.
Oh, that's a loaded term, Ben.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And I'm sticking to it. So yeah, basically, Michael, if you want to consume English spoken content in a modern era, you are inevitably going to come into contact with United States driven content. Probably filmed in Vancouver, which is
or Jodie Comer will probably be
or filmed. I'm not going to finish that joke because I just realised what way it was going. But yes, anyway, Michael, that leads us to a very biased view on the world, especially when it comes to superheroes, Michael.
Go on.
Because superheroes, Michael, for better or worse, are quintessentially American.
Go on.
Now, let's be clear. We can't use the term superhero to stand in for an archetype here. We're not talking about like a god archetype, your Zeus, your bloody Hades,
your Thor,
the gang. You know yourself. We're
Loki.
not talking about those, Michael. What we're talking about is the bloody spandex-clad, cape-sporting, good of the world toting sons of guns that are superheroes in our modern kind of understanding. Probably from around the 1930s onwards. Right. If we're really pushing. And those have become a quintessentially American art form. And there's lots of theories on why that is, Michael. Some of them are highfalutin. For an example, America's a very young society by the standard of the world. They lack mythology of their own. Of course, when we say lack a mythology of their own, they mean that they wiped out the actual native mythology that was there and replaced it.
Davy Crockett.
Davy Crockett. So folktales are a big thing in America because they didn't have one. They started creating
Johnny Appleseed
kind of en masse thing. Another theory is that it's a nice way to reinforce American stability and give, all American values a shiny polish since they don't exist anymore. Abraham Lincoln, yourself. So there's lots of reasons that people think these exist, but fundamentally, Michael, now in a modern context, they make a lot of money.
Yeah, it's all about Benjamins now.
Superheroes are big bucks, Michael, big bucks. And I suppose there's a number of reasons for that. They offer the same kind of inspiration and timeless stories that we would have gotten from mythology back in the day, but they don't require the education or gatekeeping that would have once been put in place of those kind of classical educations, Michael. So that huge human-driven story appeal is still inherent in the old superheroes, Michael.
And then you have Netflix, Ben.
Yeah.
And Netflix takes all of this highfalutin conceptualizing and goes, but how can we do it fucking cheaply? And then
we make 6 of these in a week.
We want to make 6 every week for the rest of all time. Get the Amel Bros and just ask them, do they have any ideas?
That's what do you think is superheroes?
Do you have any superhero ideas, the Amel Bros?
Oh man, do you remember that? Code great. Code great. But yes, it got us thinking, Michael, because Netflix seems to be experimenting with that kind of new cultural lens on superheroes, and you've slogged your way through a few of them in
Yes.
anticipation of this week's episode.
So, Benjamin, they're not even bros, they're actually cousins. But anyway.
Two cousins.
Two
They are
cousins
strong
who
bonds.
everyone then thinks they're bros. Benjamin,
Yeah.
you've got your codates. You've got your Jamie
Yeah.
Foxx has the power of a pistol shrimp. You've got your was Joseph Gordon-Levitt in that? I think he was. You've got Joseph
He
Gordon-Levitt
was,
in for
yeah.
some reason. You've got
Why?
you've got your absolute fucking slew of Bright Ben.
Oh, bright.
You've got your Bright,
Ugh.
you've got your Jamie Foxx, you've got your Codate, you've got your slew of superhero films, mid-budget Netflix original superhero films, Ben. And
Yes.
they're a real microcosm of just trash. Just some of them have good concepts, Ben, but they are the petri dish from whence in 40 years a good idea might spring.
Yeah, with a bit more time and formation, like a diamond, Michael. A bit more time and pressure.
Yeah, a bit more time and pressure, Benjamin. But the
Yeah.
funny thing for us, Benjamin, is we're seeing all of these and we're watching the occasional one and going, oh, I wish we hadn't
Yeah.
watched that, Ben. But what we're
That
seeing
is most often the response.
what we're seeing are the Canadian American productions, Ben. But Netflix is a massive international company. And
Get out
they're
of town.
doing the same thing, Ben, practically in every language.
No.
Exactly, Ben. So practically every language that you can think of has mid to low superhero trash films being
Hindi.
churned out. India, Turkey, Russia, France,
Serbia.
Germany, everywhere, Ben. Everywhere.
Oh my God. What have you watched this week,
So, Ben, I've gone really down into the fucking deep end of fucking trash, cheaply produced Netflix original superhero content.
Schlock.
There's three in particular I've watched, Ben. I've watched a delightful offering from Russia called Major Grom Plague Doctor, or Rise of the Plague Doctor, I think.
Okay.
I've watched a real petit falou of a little French treat, Ben, called How I Became a Superhero.
Very good.
And I've watched a German superhero horror genre film called Blood Red Sky.
Get out of town.
And Benjamin, I tell you what, the reason you were off last week was because you were suffering from the effects of your jab and your radiation bath. The reason
I
that
was.
I was off was I needed a break after watching those three fucking films.
I'd say it hurt.
So, will we start with Major Grom, Ben, Rise of the Plague Doctor?
Major Grom is a ridiculous name. Let's start with Major Grom, Rise of the Plague Doctor.
Right, Major Grom, Rise of the Plague Doctor. So, first of all, Major Grom is a superhero, kind of. But he's not.
Okay.
He's more of a... He's halfway between a superhero, Ben, and a Bruce Willis character from the 80s.
Okay.
So, this is a Russian movie, Ben.
Yes.
And immediately the cultural differences start becoming apparent. Because, first of all, he's a cop.
Oh.
And he's a good guy. And the cops are to be trusted and respected and believed and supported in this.
Because they're a grand bunch of
They're
lads.
a grand bunch of lads, Ben. And that's the first thing that jumps out to me as being wildly different from the current American climate where, you know, when the last time we had a hero who was a cop? Probably Bright. And that was no
and
use.
Look what happened. Yeah.
So Major Grom, Ben, he dresses like our friend Seamus. He's in a leather jacket. He's in jeans. He's in a long sleeve t-shirt, and he's got a paddy cap.
No.
He's got a paddy cap on. And I don't know exactly what the look is, but I think it's going for the look of like a traditional Russian pre the modern age, pre the Adidas tracksuit.
Old school manly
Old
Russian.
school manly Russian man. And
Yes.
he doesn't have a superhero power per se, Ben, but he's just very good at thinking and planning. So before he does an action, he goes to himself, think, and he thinks through what's going to happen. And
Right.
then we see that. as the events unfold. So we see him get killed a lot, and then he rewinds and goes, "No, that doesn't work," and then we see it again.
I bet they don't. I bet they don't explain that conceit the first ever time he gets killed. And
Exactly,
you're just like,
Ben. Exactly. And he gets killed, and he wakes up in the coffin and goes, "Damn!" And then it rewinds, and we're like, "Oh, very clever."
I see what you're doing, boys.
Yeah, it's a weird film though, because it's kind of jaunty and light-hearted, but the swearing is incredible amount of swearing in it. And it might be just that Netflix has translated relatively mild Russian swearing into much worse English swearing.
Into big bad English ones.
Yeah, so it's a little bit odd. But in it, Ben, Major Grom faces down with if Jesse Eisenberg played Mark Zuckerberg as the Joker.
That's a lot of things.
That's the
to
baddie.
be mixed together.
That's the plague
Okay.
doctor, Ben.
Okay.
So it actually has a very good twist in it, which was totally caught me off guard. But long story short is Mark Zuckerberg, Ben, he's the Joker, but he's also Batman,
Yes.
but he's also Jesse Eisenberg.
Okay, that's a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot. And he's gone a bit mad, Ben, and he's taken out the criminals and the bad people in Russia, in St. Petersburg.
Okay, is he Major Grom?
No, Major Grom is the guy I've just described, Ben.
Okay, ground control to Major Grom.
No.
is
Oh,
the-
God. Major Grom, he's the hero. He's the good guy.
Yeah.
He's the tough old Russian tough guy, but he's young.
And he's not the plague doctor.
No, the plague doctor is the Mark Zuckerberg. So the
Oh.
goodies, Ben, the goodies in this film are traditional Russian men and police.
Law-abiding citizens.
Yes.
Okay.
And the baddies are anarchists and social media.
Oh, social media is the worst, isn't it? When you
Social
can
media.
spread your opinions freely and disseminate information.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And well, maybe it's corporations that are the baddies, or even the idea of monopolies or whatever. I don't know, Ben. Thematically,
Do you know what
it's a bit
else? Do
odd.
you know what else is awful, Michael? Free speech. Get rid of it. Get rid of it. Just more hassle than it's worth. I mean,
But look, yeah, he's on the nose. Jesse Eisenberg as the Joker, as Lex Luthor,
Okay.
as Mark Zuckerberg. It's weird.
amazing.
And there's a lady report. One of the interesting things about it, Ben, is one of the interesting things about all of these films, in fact, is how the male heroes in them
Yeah.
are tough, and they're not infallible. They get beaten up and they lose fights, but they're like 80s Hollywood characters in that they're
Okay.
tough and no nonsense, and they're not by the rules and they're not by the book. And
Oh yeah.
and the more strict lady cop. Oh, that's one of the other ones. Anyway, in this there's a journalist lady,
Okay.
and she falls in love with him, obviously. Classic 80s. It's like watching a film from the 80s, but with a modern low budget superhero feeling. It's weird. It's a weird film.
Oh man, I really want to see this film now. I want
It's-
to go watch this film.
It's not horrible. I mean, it's
Okay.
it's not great either, but
Okay.
it's not horrible, and it doesn't wear its politics on its sleeve too much.
That's good.
The thing about it to remember is I went into this with the purpose of looking at this from it. How is it different from an American movie?
Okay.
And the thing that stuck out was he's a loser, but he's not
Right.
the modern American humiliated hero kind of loser. He's not a Paul Rudd or a Seth Rogen type loser. He's
Not a
loser.
schmuck.
Yeah, he's a loser in the sense that Mel Gibson characters were losers in the 80s.
Because they were too loose cannon.
Yeah,
Too
he's
damn
too
effective,
loose, and he too doesn't care.
People wouldn't be his bro because damn it, you're a loose cannon.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's all right. It's not great.
So it's the lone alpha wolf.
Kind of, yeah.
Oh.
And you know, the female characters all fall in love with him, and
It's a classic. He's so dark and mysterious, Michael. How
the
could
male
you not?
characters either want to throw the book at him or to be him. You know, he's that kind of classic character that you
God
do not
damn
see.
it! If I don't respect you, Grom.
Yeah, you don't see that anymore. Every time he does something bad, the chief of police is essentially his adoptive father as well, and he keeps threatening to fire him. He's like, "God damn it, Grom, I have to fire you."
Yes.
And Grom is like, "Yeah, but I'm getting results." And it's
Smacks the table. He's like, "I'm keeping the badge. Give me your badge."
It has a great twist, though, Ben.
Okay, go on.
It has a very good twist that caught me completely off guard.
Go on.
The Plague Doctor in the first 20 minutes is revealed to be the Mark Zuckerberg character's childhood friend and business partner.
Dun, dun, dun.
But that all turns out to be a Fight Club-esque twist at the end, and it is the Zuckerberg guy.
That's all Zucks.
It's old Zucky, old Marky Zucky B. Anyway, look, it's fine. The next one, Ben, I watched was... This is the Frenchest film I've ever seen, Ben.
Okay.
It's called How I Became a Superhero.
Oh my.
And the plot of How I Became a Superhero, Ben, is the plot of the Jamie Foxx film I'm Pistol Shrimp.
I'm Pistol Shrimp. Hello.
Hello, I'm Pistol Shrimp. Oh, pow. I'm a pow.
Watch me shimmy and shatter things.
It's the same plot, Ben. It's the same plot. So
okay.
It's a world, Ben, where superheroes are real.
Uh-huh.
And superheroes are real, and an evil person has discovered a way to capture superheroes and drain their blood, and then convert that into a kind of drug that gives you that superhero's power for an hour or so.
Oh, well, that's handy, isn't it?
It's very handy. So if you wanted to, say, burn down a local school or something, you could go and you could take the vial and sniff the vial, and then you've got the flame powers for an hour.
Oh, it goes up your snooter.
It goes up your fucking snooter, Ben. Straight up your nostrils. Straight up your nostrils. And actually, it's funny because they break the vials, Ben, and they go, and they get the powers, and then they throw the vials on the ground, and there's lots of imagery of discarded vials on the ground.
Right.
Very similar to the little nitrous vials that you see around major
it's a bit
cities.
like walking around Dublin.
They're starting to appear in Dublin. That's interesting.
They're all over the place, Michael. They're all over where you and I live.
Yeah. No, I've seen them now, but I saw them in London and Paris 10 years ago.
Ah, okay.
And I'm starting to see them in Dublin now, but obviously they're more endemic in the bigger European cities, and a lot of the imagery is about youngish teens getting high on these and throwing them on the ground.
Acting the mick.
Yeah. So this one stars, Ben, it has a policeman in it. And the policeman is played by a French actor. I can't remember the French actor's name, but imagine...
Gerard Depardieu.
Essentially, Gerard. Imagine, Ben, if you would, if Oscar Isaacs looked even more French.
Okay.
And that's this guy.
Oh, that's very French.
And very French. A little bit more overweight.
Okay.
And very French.
Okay.
And this, so Ben, he's not by the book, you see. But he gets results.
Is he a bit of a loose cannon cop?
He's a bit of a loose cannon. But he's a very different type of loose cannon, because Major Grom, the loose cannon, was this kind of svelte, young, tough guy. Whereas this guy is more a kind of slobby, a bit lazy, a bit laid back French loose cannon.
Oh, very French. He's very French.
He's the most French loose cannon. He is un canon loose, Ben. And he's so loose. He's such a loose cannon.
We've just lost the 6 French listeners that we have. They're just like, fuck you.
He gets teamed up, Ben, with an uptight young lady cop.
Oh, a type A personality, Michael.
Exactly, Ben. And I'm watching this thinking this is like Scott and Hope Van Dyne.
Oh, sparks will fly.
Sparks are going to fly here. But I was thinking this is going to be like, the kind of laid back, goofy guy and the uptight woman, and she's going to know everything better. She's going to be better than him, and he's going to be a hindrance. But everything he does works out right for him. Everything that he does, and nothing that she does works out right for her. So it's the
somebody
opposite.
has a difficult relationship with their wife or girlfriend and wrote a screenplay.
I know, it's so funny because everything goes wrong for her, and the whole thing is basically about her being humbled and learning to respect and love this guy, and she falls in love with him.
Oh, that's a very French film.
It's so French, Ben. Everyone's smoking fags. The goodies are smoking fags.
Schlubby, laid-back losers. Grand bunch of lads.
Yeah. Oh, it's so strange. And then, yeah. It's again, it's not bad. It's better than Major Grom. Overall, it's a better film.
So, what powers does he get?
Well, it turns out, Ben, do you want to know the twist?
Go on.
It turns out that he's always had powers, and he was a kind of undercover superhero. He was
Get out of town.
He was the superhero's liaison in the police department.
Get out of town.
He has gravity manipulation, which is an interesting enough power, actually.
Yeah, that's actually... There's a lot of stuff you could probably do with that.
Yeah. Pretty good though. It's a lot better than Major Grom. It's still not great. It's a lot better than Pistol Shrimps with Jamie Foxx, despite having essentially the same plot. But yeah, very again, very 80s, very not modern.
Very acceptable in the 80s. Yes.
Yeah, very
that
not modern.
That leads us to your final pick there, Michael.
Benjamin. This one's not really a superhero film. I found out halfway through. It's called Blood Red Sky, Ben.
Hang on, is this... Can I take a stab at this one?
Go on. It's German.
Oh, I'm a single mom and life is tough and I have to get my son on this plane and things could be going better for me. What? A hijacker? Good thing I'm a vampire.
Yes, that's it. You've seen it.
No, I haven't seen the whole thing. I've seen the trailer, Michael.
You've seen or heard of it. Yeah. The only thing I would say is it's not good thing I'm a vampire. It's... And also, oh no, I'm a vampire.
Okay.
So,
They've switched it up on me, the old switcheroo.
They've done the old switcheroo on you. Funnily enough, I think the Germans, in their sensibilities, are the closest to American thinking. Because this, other than the fact people are speaking Germany, other than the fact people are speaking German, this doesn't... There's nothing in this that jumps out at me as this would never happen in a modern American film.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Like
so we've now officially alienated our French audience, and we've said that Germans are very close in their thinking to Americans. That's the Germans gone as well.
Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, it's fine. I think it would have benefited immensely from the vampire thing being a twist, because it's very much a twist in the film.
But we saw it in the trailer.
Yeah, and the name of the film, Blood Red Sky, and the fact that the logo of the film is the status bar from an airplane showing like seatbelts on, no smoking, vampire fangs.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's a pretty big giveaway, Michael, isn't it?
Exactly. But the entire film is set up in a kind of Dusk Till Dawn sort of way, where the vampire thing doesn't really happen until about 45 minutes in.
Okay.
And it's only very faintly hinted at before then. And I think it would have been a much more satisfying film if you didn't already know everything going into it.
If you'd had a Dusk Till Dawn style reveal.
Yeah.
Michael, tell me now, what are the rules of this particular vampire?
She's a classic Nosferatu, Ben.
Oh, get out of town!
Yeah. So she's a real hideous vampire with big pointy ears and big pointy teeth, and
good for her.
Yeah, bald and everything. The one thing I would say though is they've not gone for vampire rules. They've done zombie rules. They've done zombie rules with vampires. So basically, if you get bitten, you're a vampire now.
You're a vampire now.
Yeah.
They got you.
You're a vampire on an airplane now. That's basically the plot. So
that's a bloody pain, isn't it?
Exactly, Ben. And you know what the worst thing that could possibly happen was?
But he gets stuck on a plane with some hijackers.
Is the worst thing that could happen is if one of the hijackers is a bit of a sociopath, a bit of a psychopath, and then you bite him, but he doesn't die.
Oh,
because then what would happen, Ben?
Because you'd have a sociopathic vampire in your hands then, wouldn't you?
Exactly. That wouldn't be great, would it?
That wouldn't be great at all.
The most kind of culturally interesting thing about this is the stock characters.
Okay.
So they have not too many, but they have the guy from Prison Break as the lead terrorist.
Oh yeah, he was in it.
What's his name? I've forgotten his name.
He plays fucking
Heat
Blast on...
Yeah, he's on Legends of Tomorrow. I've forgotten his name completely. That's such a shame. He plays Mick Rory on Legends of Tomorrow, but I can't remember the actor's name. Dominic
I give up. Dominic Toretto.
Dominic Toretto. It's all about familia. But they have their stock characters, and the most obvious standout stock character is the Wall Street guy.
Oh, yes.
It has a Wall Street guy.
Yes.
And you know he's a Wall Street guy because he knows about stocks and he doesn't want to help anyone else.
Well, that's a classic, Michael. If I knew about stocks, I'd tell no one.
Well, not that you wouldn't tell them about stocks, is that you also wouldn't let them escape from the vampires by coming into your first class compartment.
Well, no, I've paid for first class, Michael.
Exactly.
Like, it's an expensive...
Yeah.
So
that stock
ridiculous.
character is in every zombie or vampire film. There's always that guy.
Yeah, and it's very important to have him die a horrible death.
Yes, exactly. He was in Train to Busan.
Yes, he was in Train to Busan,
He's
essential
in-
character.
Yeah, he's in Plane to Busan, whatever this is called. Plane to Busan, that's what we'll call it.
Plane to Busan. Yeah?
Yeah. Anyway, look.
You just got switched off there.
I just got switched off. You switched off my brain. It's fine. It's good. It's. What's the best of the three? Of the three, Ben, I most enjoyed How I Became a Superhero. I don't
Really?
know. Does that say that my sensibilities most skew towards French sensibilities, or is it just the best film of the three? I don't know.
I don't think we could insult the French by saying that you're in any way similar to them, Michael.
I'm very similar to the French, Ben. I'm very laid back. I'm always eating le fromage.
You do love Le Fromage.
I love le fromage, Ben. I'm always looking for the Centre Georges Pompidou.
You quite often give a little salute to a tricolore when you see
Tricolore,
it.
yeah. I'm always going. What else do the French do?
You love a HB Viennetta for your birthday?
Do the French like a Viennetta?
I don't know.
Sounds
don't know,
Italian.
Michael.
I think that's Italian. Man.
I think it's from Vienna.
Anyway, look, that's all I have to say about three random fucking Netflix original superhero films that I watched last week.
Ladies
There
and
are
gentlemen, what are you...
hundreds more, Ben. Hundreds
Well,
more.
I tell you what, Michael. Let's do a little bit of outsourcing here.
Oh,
Ladies
good.
and gentlemen, what
Oh,
are
thank Christ.
what are your stumbled across at 3 a.m. when you were blind drunk, or at 12 p.m. the next day when you were bloody hung over to bits? What were your weird Netflix films that you said, I'll give it a watch? It can't be that bad. What did you think of them? What are your hidden Netflix gems?
Yeah, from other countries.
Let us know, from other countries possibly. For any of our international listeners, let us know some of the ones that have made an impact on you. Which ones do you like? Why do you like them? You can do that in a bunch of different ways, ladies and gentlemen. You can get in touch with us on bloody the interwebs at www.seanrabeag.com, SEOMRABEAG.com.
Means tiny room in Irish.
It does indeed. You can find us on Instagram at Sherlock Listen Podcast.
Means she looks listen in English.
But all of those,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen, pale in comparison to that Discord, baby.
Hop up on it.
Hop up on it. Hop up on it. Yeah, and let us know what you think in real time. We're real quick at responding, we promise.
I've got it on my phone.
So that's a great way to do it. Mick gets notifications on his phone, ladies and gentlemen.
I can write a
his
message on the
phone.
Discord right now.
If you, yeah, sure. If that's what you want, give us a shout and let us know any future episodes you'd like to hear, anything you'd like to be interested in listening to. Michael, are we taking a break? We never covered this.
Oh yeah, we're taking a break. We're taking a little holiday. This is our summer
Okay.
holidays.
We're taking our summer holidays, ladies and gentlemen. It's a little 2-week break now for the next 2 weeks. So you'll see us in 3 weeks' time for your next episode of Sherlock Listen, where we'll be doing something pop culture related.
Yeah, we don't know what it is though.
We don't know what it is, though, because we're on holiday.
I'd like to do the video games thing, but we might need a special guest for that.
We're going to have to get a special guest for that, Michael. It's just going to have to be the way it is.
Yeah. Do you know which one I'm talking about?
No, I don't, Michael. I always just nod along with you.
Ben, I'm talking about if video games are replacing movies as the new home for horror.
That is a good episode. I tell you what, Michael, I tell you one more thing that I'm going to put out to the listeners. If you're an expert in a particular part of pop culture, or you have a soapbox that you'd like to get up on and tell us all about in pop culture, we are now looking, ladies and gentlemen, for guests to explain the more niche parts of pop culture to us that Michael and myself might not know about. So if there's anything you really, really feel passionate about,
Or a really favourite character, Ben, tell them about that.
or a really favourite character, a bloody Dylan Dog, a bloody
Malice Darkblade.
yeah, that thing, a bloody Cassie Hack.
Yeah.
or something like that, get in touch with us because we'd love to have you on the podcast to tell us all about why you love the character and why you think they're important and why you think they're great.
Yeah.
That's what we want to know.
Ravener.
That's what we want to know. Ravener. Oh, bloody Beckwin. Get a bloody Beckwin guest on.
Get Becklin in here.
Let's do that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it from us for 3 weeks. We'll talk to you then.
See you in 3 weeks. Bye. Go on holidays. But I mean, not. We're staying here. But it was a break. A little break.
Staycation.
Staycation. Staycations.